Welcome to the St. Tammany Parish Committee as a whole Human Resources and Education meeting for October 3rd, 2019. We're going to have the invocation, the roll call, Ms. Campbell.
Mrs. Hines.
She's absent.
Mr. Green.
Here.
Mr. Derman.
Here.
Mr. Loop.
Here.
Mr. Harrell.
Here.
Mr. Nation.
Here.
Mrs. Richardson.
Here.
Mr. Winkler.
Here.
Mrs. Drucker. Mr. Betancourt.
Here.
Mrs. Lamy.
Here.
Mr. Hersey. Mr. Bro.
Here.
Mr. Kuzan.
Here.
And Mrs. Page.
Thank you. Please stand and join us in invocation and prayer led by Ms. Page.
Lord, I pray you be with us tonight with all the decisions that we have to make. Lord, I pray you be with our friend David. I pray a special healing over to him right now. Lord, I pray you be with our teachers, our central office staff, our administrators, all of our principals. And Lord, I pray you keep our students safe during this fall and homecoming activities. We ask all these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll have recognition of visitors. Do any board members have any visitors they'd like to recognize?
I do.
I would like to recognize Ms. Deandra Chapman, who is running for Slidell City Court Judge. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Anyone else? Thank you. We'll move on. Public comments. 5 minutes. We have none. Nobody signed up. 3 minutes. So
None.
nobody signed up for 3 minutes. So we move on to item A, approval minutes for the committee as a whole meeting held on September 5th, 2019. Do I have a motion? Okay, motion by Mr. Betancourt, second by Mr. Broad. Was that right? Okay, thank you. Any questions or comment from the board? Any comments from the public? If not, everyone please vote.
Oh, that been yay. And one abstention.
We have 11 yeas, 1 abstention. Motion passed. We move on to item number 4, Human Resources. Item A, a recommendation to accept the revisions of the local evaluation plan. Mr. Jabier?
Thank you, Mr. Kuzan. Sent to you electronically. We sent you some changes. These changes are not through St. Tammany Parish Public School System, but from the State Department of Education in their Bulletin 130. And we have to be in compliance with Bulletin 130 in our local evaluation plan. We sent you the changes that are on pages 3, 7, 8, 7 and 8, 9, 11, and 16. We had some additions. They are in green, and red are deletions. Again, all of these are in compliance with the State Department of Education. Most of it involved the two new terms or the 2 new people involved in the evaluation, and those are content leader and a mentor teacher. And so there were a lot of changes that involved all of this. I hope you've had an opportunity to look at that. Ms. Lemaine and Mr. Alfonso is here if you may have any questions. Again, this is not anything from us. This is just to be in compliance with Bulletin 130.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor to move to be accepted by Mr. Derman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Green. Mr. Nation. Any questions or comments from the board?
Look at the screen.
Mr. Nation?
Thank you, Mr. Kuzan. Mr. Jabby or Ms. Lemaine, could you give us an example of what a content leader or a mentor teacher is vis-a-vis a regular classroom teacher?
Sure. The content leader is someone who's received specialized training in either ELA or English Language Arts or mathematics at this point. It also requires, once they finish that training, to take an assessment and apply for an additional certification. The mentor teacher is what in the past we would have known as a supervisor of student teaching.
Okay, thank you. And in the bulletin 130 is what is Mr. Jabby said is the policy that we have to implement for the compass rubric, and I mean that's where all this comes from that evaluates our teachers.
Yes, sir, for evaluation. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I'll just go on record, as I've done many times before, but at least in private, I don't know if I've ever done it in public, just in terms of general of how frustrating this is for me, for Bessie to implement, an evaluation system that is, while maybe at best well-intentioned, is in terms of wanting to raise the standards of our teachers. The comparison that I often hear, and I'm sure we've all heard that, of comparing the analogy of comparing what is done in the classroom to like a plant manufacturing a widget. Well, for those of us that are in business, if I don't like a supplier or a vendor, I can fire that supplier and I can get another supplier to help me build my product. Unfortunately, in the education business, the major component of a child's life is their parents or the lack of parents, lack of parenting, or even if they have good parents, it may be the child themselves particularly when they get older. So, again, it's at least in this one board member's opinion, or the whole evaluation system that the State Department of Education has placed on our teachers is unfair at best. It's not a true, because there's no way to. You can have the best classroom teacher in the world, and they go home, and that student goes home to a terrible home life, or just chooses not to do their work, as some students, and I know this from personal experience, some students may just not choose to do their work, even though you begged them to. There's nothing, and so our teachers are totally graded and evaluated on something they don't have complete control over, that's the unfair part. Anyway, thank you.
Ms. Lamy?
Thank you. I was going to say something similar, just my opinion of Compass doesn't really matter, but just for the record, it isn't a true evaluation of a teacher, and it's ridiculous in my opinion. But my question is, how do the teachers get this in their employee handbook? Like, for example, a formal grievance. The teachers have 5 days to present something in writing. How do we make them aware of that? After the 5 days, is that...
It's in policy that's
So they just kind of have to look that up and know that. Okay. And then the
What's
other
the
thing
assistant
was,
superintendent name of it?
my other quick question was, they removed, I guess, the state, about the termination proceedings, that it has to be done within 6 months of an ineffective score after the intensive training intervention, and they still have another formal evaluation. It's still unsatisfactory. We used to say that we would have to start the termination proceedings within 6 months. That's been removed.
That's
So
been removed, yes.
is that, what does that even mean, really?
Just give a longer timeline to get
So
it
that
done,
you
not
can do it
restricted
whenever,
to the
okay.
6 months.
Got
yes.
it. Makes sense. Okay, that's what I needed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Any comments from the public? If not, everyone please vote.
yea.
12 yeas, motion passes. We move on to item number 5A, robotics. Mrs. Hanson?
Good evening, Superintendent Foles, Mr. Kuzan, and board members. Our St. Tammany Parish Public Schools are involved in STEM exploration. STEM focuses on learning in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And as we know, STEM learning is important for the 21st century careers, which require critical thinking, design and engineering practices, as well as the workplace skills needed for students to be successful. Our students are provided the opportunity to further develop these skills through the robotics teams and clubs offered. Our schools are leading the way in robotics, participating in competitions locally and on the national stage. FIRST, which stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology, the first LEGO League Junior introduces STEM to students in grades K through 3, enabling them to work together, be creative, and use science and technology. The students participate in an expo which simulates the real competition that the older students participate in. First LEGO League Junior, Tech Challenge, and robotics competitions are for older students who work together on a common problem using science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. In the first robotics competition, students in grades 9 through 12 compete with robots they have designed, built, and programmed. Teams also participate in off-season types of competitions like the Red Stick Rumble in Denham Springs, Beach Bot Battle in Gulfport, Festival de Robotique and LSU Fast Start in Baton Rouge, and the World War II Museum competitions in New Orleans. STEM learning also occurs in the classrooms, school, and community. Students receive robotics kits and begin the process of creating and exploring. High schools offer expos for the younger students and serve as mentors and guides. They host workshops inviting the younger students and inviting them to share what they have going on in their schools. Our robotics teams have presented at community events like Boy Scout meetings, the library, civic clubs, and organizations. Our students are engaged in STEM learning throughout the year, both in and outside the classroom. Tonight we have the robotics team from Mandeville High School, the SS Prometheus, to share a little bit about the work they do. However, before we bring them up to the podium, Channel 13 has a short video capturing their work in progress. Let's watch.
I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was younger, and when I found robots, I was like, this is it. I want to be an engineer. So it showed me a lot of what I'm interested in. It showed me a lot of what just clicks with my personality.
Most of my friends, pretty much all my friends are on the robotics team or have like wanted to do it and just don't have the time. And yeah, it's been like the center of my social life, basically.
STEM is heavily involved. All the kids are using the math that they learn, the science that they learn, and I also teach engineering, so they learn the design process in class and they apply it immediately. So it's a way to reinforce all of these STEM skills that they're learning in class.
It gives me a completely unique experience, I guess, and I still get to go help build robots. I still get to do all that other cool stuff. So I'm getting an engineering background and kind of a management planning background too. So I love it. It's so much fun.
I think it's extremely important for people interested in STEM, but also people interested in other careers and want to see how it's applied to the world today, since technology is such a big part of everything.
And it helps encourage them to keep their grades up, to focus on their future, and to see what is possible for them. One of the things that the organization FIRST is all about is, it's called the sport of the mind. And they like to say, one of the quotes is, it's the only sport that every kid can go pro in.
Please help me welcome Reza Najdi, Mason Bray, Emily Ogeron, Hazel Romero, Hannah Russell, and their robotics teacher, Miss Jacqueline Dewey.
Hello, so my name's Mason Bray. I'm the team captain of 2992, and thank you, Ms. Hanson, for that wonderful introduction. So we participated in a program called FIRST, which represents for inspiration and recognition of science and technology. Each year, FIRST presents a game, a series of challenges where we have to design innovative ideas in order to complete these challenges, to complete at a local and regional and national level. It's taught me a lot in person. It's taught me a lot about STEM and how I can use that in order to further my career in the future, and it's also taught me plenty about leadership in which I can use to brighten my future in further events.
Our challenge starts every year in January, and then the next 6 weeks we have to work to build a robot. We have to use teamwork to efficiently use our resources to program, design, and build the robot all on our own under that time constraint. For me personally, and I know a lot of people on our team, it teaches you a lot about just how important teamwork and communication are when you're working on such a big task under such tight constraints. So it's a lot to be applied in a lot of other bigger projects that really helps people moving forward in their future.
So the team has given me a lot of experience in engineering and leadership, and it's allowed me to surround myself with other students who want to pursue STEM careers or are just interested in it. And FIRST has allowed our team to expose the rest of our community to STEM in many different ways and with our year-round outreach events. So as Ms. Hanson said earlier, we do a lot of demonstrations to different communities, such as like Boy Scouts or just to the public library. And we also hold summer camps and a day camp to get more involved with young students and try and really push STEM and teamwork and everything that goes along with that. It's given me a unique experience, like when I try and teach kids the design process, when they come to our camps or when we do little instant challenges, like 5-minute activities with them. And it also has allowed me to do things like this, give presentations that I wouldn't be doing if I was on a student council or something like that. And it's allowed me to see where I want to go in life and understand what I'm going to be doing when I get to my job, when I eventually hopefully become a robotics engineer or an outreach manager at some organization. And STEM changes lives, and this team has changed mine.
Thank you. Well, couldn't have said it any better than that. Y'all were wonderful. I'd like to take this time to also thank one of our community partners, Chevron. They're represented here tonight by Ms. Caitlin Hunter.
Thank you all for having me tonight, and I'll be brief. As a student and graduate of St. Tammany Parish Schools, I'm really excited to lead the way together in partnership to bring STEM to this parish and have incredible students like these from Mandeville High really pushing the needle forward in the STEM space. We look forward to having future engineers from St. Tammany Parish and keeping the economy thriving by partnering with St. Tammany Parish Schools. Thank you.
That concludes my report to you tonight. Dr. McCurley and I, we've been working together in bringing the STEM projects and programs to our students. She will join me in answering any questions you may have, or the students as well.
Okay, I think we have questions right here. Mr. Green is the first one up on board.
Yeah, as a Mandeville grad, you guys make me very proud. I know you guys finished well in nationals and worlds, and I appreciate the invite last spring to visit your open house. What these students are doing is unbelievable. And they do it twice, from my understanding. You build one machine to ship it off, and then you have another robot that they practice with. And the tasks that they can get these robots to do are unbelievable. And I want to also thank the city of Mandeville. I know that we partner with them on some shop space really close to our campus, and they've been generous in that. So keep up the good work, guys, and bring home the championship this year, okay?
Ms. Lamy?
I did not graduate from Mandeville High, but I am extremely proud of y'all. Just your presentation, just your passion. I'm very thankful. I was going to ask, do we ever have them go into our elementary schools? I heard about the camps and the community events, but do we ever get to go? I'm being selfish. I'm thinking about my 8-year-old boys, thinking like they would be so wowed. Do we do stuff like that?
So every year we do go to Punch Train Elementary School on Earth and Science Day. And we're looking to start doing that in more schools and even middle schools too. And like by doing that, that was a big reason that we were able to start 12 FLL teams at Punch Train Elementary School. So, and we're trying to help keep those teams running too.
Well, you have my vote, so I think that's excellent. Congratulations, and thank you for being here.
Additionally, these students serve as judges at the expo that we started 2 years ago for First Lego League Junior, the K through 3 grades. They will come and do demonstrations and also serve as judges. And it gives the kids firsthand knowledge. They feel comfortable because it's younger, cool guys there helping them out.
I also just want to applaud you for a job well done. It's impressive to see you guys even speaking. You are developing leadership skills. And Mr. Falls, would you remind me the statistic you gave the other day about 80% of the jobs have yet to be created or even imagined?
Correct.
What was the year for that?
It was 2030.
So 2030, he produced this statistic that, somewhere in the 80%, 80% of the jobs out there have yet to be even imagined. So we know that STEM is going to be a big part of that. And I'm the numbers guru, and I study how we do as a country by way of education. And because STEM has been introduced to our public education, this is a huge number, folks, but 30% increase in our performances across the board. So that's really huge, and STEM is a big part of that. So I did have one question. Do all of our high schools have a robotics program such as this?
Many of them have programs. Not all of them have programs, but if they don't have them individually, they join with another school, like North Shore High and Salmon High School have a program together, and they compete or they have programs at differing levels, whatever best suits their school.
That is fantastic. And again, job well done.
Yes.
Mr. Bettencourt?
Thank you. I noticed on the robot 2992, was there any significance to that number?
Okay. So for first, each team is given a number by the organization just to signify your team, and we were just given 2992. So for us to compete, we have to have that on our robot. So it's a number given to us by the organization that is our team number.
Okay, I thought it might have been some secret code. Thank you.
Mr. Drucker?
As a Mandeville High parent, I'm extremely proud of our robotics team. And I would just want to say that we're playing it forward. Having community partnerships like with Chevron, having our high school students go into our elementary schools and showcasing it. It's just, our community is just so blessed having community, having our high schoolers share with our elementary schools. But STEM is really our future. You think about how much computers are entwined with what we do today. It has changed what we do as a living, what we do every day with computers, and I just see so much excitement going forward seeing our high schoolers doing this. And I just see that it's going to be spreading down to our elementary, and our elementary schools are going to have teams too. I can just foresee that. So kudos to y'all, and like Matt said, we want to see you bring home the championships for the skippers and for St. Tammany. Great job, guys.
I want to thank the Mandeville High School robotics team for their attendance here tonight. Keep up the good work. Y'all got to work, though, to beat North Shore.
I do want to say thank thank you also once again to Chevron and to the other community partners, like you had said, Mandeville High, and there are many partners that we have named, but also to the parents, the teachers, the volunteers, all of those the administrators, all of those support personnel, support persons that help these students be successful and pursue their interest and their opportunities.
Is it, before you leave, I too want to say something about Chevron and the partnership that we've had with them through the years. They give money, but they also give people, and they also come into our schools in many different ways, and that's super important, and, you know, Matt touched about it too. This is a great example of city working together with the school system, with the business, and I don't know, I'm going to put Caitlin on the spot here. I had a memo come across my desk today. Can we share that good news? All right, well, you want to do it? No, you do. Okay. Chevron committed today to a grant to support our school system and STEM initiatives for a total amount of $25,000 today. So as Mrs. Richardson said, the opportunities are there for the future, even though we don't know what they are. But we have support from the community, the business, and then others. And then when you have amazing students like this that get in front of the podium and speak like that, or get in front of the camera and speak like that, it fires us all up. When I saw this video yesterday, it just totally motivated me, and really proud of y'all. And every event we go to, if you throw a robotics team in that event, whether it be a job fair or anything that's going on, the biggest crowd is the robotics. I don't care if they're shooting basketball, playing baseball, anything else, where the robotics are, that's where the people are going to be. And if you've ever been to a robotics competition, it's like, get after it. So I would encourage you to go. It's as good as any sporting event, that's for sure. So I'm proud of y'all, and thank you again for making a difference.
Once again, thanks to Mandeville High School. Do we have any more?
Real quick?
Yes.
Could the teacher stand up, because you put so many hours in? I know. I don't know.
I'd also like to recognize we have one of our mentors here with us today. He's my co-lead mentor. He is our build mentor, and that's Mr. Mike Saunier. He is a parent and has been with the team for, like 7 years, almost 8 years now. And, you know, we couldn't do what we do without his expertise and assistance. So,
how many hours do y'all put in a week on this? I know it's a lot.
that's a question for y'all.
Probably during the build season, I know for last year, at least for a fact, I probably put in at least 25 hours a week, maybe 30. It's pretty long on the weekends, but I think it really pays out in the end.
Just outside of build season with the other things, like, for example, Emily and I are in Miss Dewey's room for 2 hours a day doing things that we need to get done, and then planning events and et cetera, and then going to those events. Like next Saturday, we have like all day, every day, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We have 3 things going on, so it adds up a lot. And yeah.
There's a couple of young ladies that we didn't hear their name. Would you all stand up and give us your name, please?
My name's Hannah Russell.
And what grade are you in?
I'm a junior.
Junior, very good. And?
I'm Hazel Romero. I'm a junior as well.
Okay. Thank you all very much for your attendance tonight. Now, if there's no further business to go before this committee tonight, I declare this meeting adjourned.